Retail businesses that won't survive the hibernation. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I had my morning stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at this article from news.com.au, written by Alexis Carey, discussing, well, the retail businesses that probably won't survive the hibernation. I think it's an odd way of framing things, that, hibernating businesses, or really government-forced shutdowns or closures of businesses. We'll have to see what's happening. I had to drop off the equipment, scanning equipment that I rent out to an engineer this morning. So I drove through the city this morning, and I've never had such a clear run through Brisbane on a weekday. So there's definitely less people out and about, less people heading to work. So these are drastic measures. These definitely are drastic measures, and they're going to have a lasting impact on a lot of businesses. I'll wait to see if people's habits are changing. If you're, working from home, have you saved a bit of money not eating out, not getting those coffees every day? Will your habits change? Rachel was saying, there's all these expectations that people will just jump right back there. Retail will shoot right up. But maybe a lot of these women who are buying a new item of clothing every week will realize, wait a minute, I don't need that. That's a waste of money. Or I came really close to the edge with this. I'm going to build up a savings fund. I'm going to have an emergency fund this time. Maybe we'll see. And I think these predictions of certain businesses not surviving may be the embodiment of those changes that is going to happen to our culture and to our habits. Let me know your thoughts on in the comments below, guys. Do you reckon people's habits will change out of this? So, the PM has introduced a new round of illness rules, but many believe it could be the death knell for this struggling industry. And we can see here, there's Maya. The illness pandemic has rendered everyday life unrecognizable as the federal government introduces even harsher measures in a desperate bid to contain the spread. Now, I've seen a lot of posts on Twitter and Facebook where people are saying, the most shocking thing out of all of this is that I realize my life is quarantine. I mean, for a lot of people that are already working from home, I think there's a YouTuber I watch, The Mighty Jingles, and he produces content at home. He's a gaming channel, so that's pretty much what he does now. And he gets his food delivered, he gets his stuff delivered. And, he's been in self-isolation for 15 years, he's saying. But some of the rules that the government's putting in place, particularly with family members and number of people per room, it just seems utterly ludicrous. It screams of desperation. It really does. From today, even tougher measures have kicked in, with Australians forbidden from going out in public with more than one other person and warned against shopping for anything but essential items, among other restrictions. So, think about that. I've got 4 kids, and we'll have number 5 on the way. What if we all have to go somewhere? We're not. We're intentionally avoiding it. I'm taking out the small car. But there you go. There you go. Or what happens if Rachel and I, Rachel gives birth, and we have to come back with 3 of us in the car? I'm sure they would make exceptions for a newborn. The new rules are clearly designed to protect the public and save lives, but many also believe it could prove disastrous for Australia's already battered retail industry. Well, retail has just been hammered, utterly hammered. Even before any of this was starting, every week, every day it seemed, another business was cutting, another business was shutting down. And this is just exacerbating the issues in that sector. But, there's been, seems to be growing movement of people wanting to buy Australian. I had a few people invite me to Facebook groups, want to support local manufacturing. I'm seeing perhaps another outcome of all of this. There could be a rise of civic nationalism in different nations. I'm hoping it'll be civic. I'm hoping. I should probably do a video on that to introduce that topic to some people. So we can see if that will change another part of our culture, another part of our buying habits. I'm a little cynical. I think a lot of people are just cheap bastards, and but we'll see. So it's feared some individual retailers forced into temporary shutdowns as a result of the illness may never reopen. And that's true. I mean, we've got now the job seeker allowance or the job keeper allowance. And I was talking to a colleague yesterday who had to let some of his boys go. And I said, oh, well, you can get this now. And he goes, yeah, but I wanted to get rid of that guy anyway. He was crap. I'm not bringing him back. So you can see that. There are going to be a whole lot of people that'll be, you'll see them in the comments. I'll be writing, oh, I got fired, never got my job back. Maybe that's a harsh lesson to learn for some people. You know, I'm sure a lot of them will keep their positions. I had another viewer, she sent me an email. She was driving home, stopped in her favorite cafe, and the outdoor seating area was all closed. But the takeout window was open and the owner was just working frantically, sending deliveries home, takeaway coffees. And she'd shared the story that all her staff quit. They all quit. Even though she was busy doing roaring trade. They all quit because they'd rather get free money from the government than stay working. Well, there you go. And the thing is, they probably would have received more money now if they'd have kept working than not. But in some ways, it doesn't seem like it's part of it. They want to just sit there and get something for nothing. So another body blow. AMP Capital Chief Economist Dr. Shane Oliver told news.com.au the latest restrictions will be yet another shock for the ailing sector. Retailers were already struggling, and this is another body blow for them, he said. We were already hearing stories of retailers falling over the last year, reflecting slower growth in the Australian economy. Well, yes, we were, again and again. Dr. Oliver said some businesses, such as coffee shops, restaurants, gyms, and hotels, would be especially likely to bounce back once the outbreak was contained, provided they receive financial support in the months ahead. Do you think? Perhaps, I guess. We'll have to see. And here's an article about using soap. I mean, there you go. But he warned retailers would take longer to recover, as it had already been struggling in the first place. He said isolated Australians would be increasingly shopping online, which could cause further problems in the longer term. People are going to get used to it. People are going to get used to shopping online. I've ordered a few things online. I'm getting more comfortable with it, so we'll have to see. Because if you want to avoid shopping, you want to avoid going out there, you want to avoid the risk of getting infected. That's the easiest way to do it. Apparently, 2 calls employees have just come down with it. Hopefully they weren't on the checkouts. So this will reintroduce the trend of online shopping, like the very strong Australian dollar did 8 or 9 years ago, he said. That opened Australians up to global choice on the net, and we started buying more online and internationally. More and more Australians will now move to online purchases, and while some retailers that already have a good online presence to complement their physical stores will benefit, those that haven't will struggle. And here's the thing, I mean, I'm an Aldi fan. I love my Aldi shopping. They saw me coming yesterday. I went shopping yesterday, and they had all the camping stuff there. So what did I buy? I bought a cast iron pan. I bought a cast iron sandwich press. I bought a fire pit. I bought a battery case. I bought a solar panel. So, I mean, if you cannot use a global pandemic to justify buying a whole lot of camping toys to your wife, then, I mean, you're not doing it right, guys. This is the chance when you got to see. And I'm doing my part for the retail sector. I'm doing my part. Yeah, do you think Rachel will believe that? What do you let me know in the comments, guys? Worst case, I get to go camping. And the retail apocalypse continues. QUT retail expert Dr. Gary Mortimer told news.com.au he had been visiting shopping centres daily and had seen more and more retailers voluntarily closing their doors over the past fortnight as foot traffic dried up. Now, what I will show you, I had a viewer send me a bit of footage, and I will bring this up here to show you all, guys. And this is just from Townsville. I think it was yesterday. What did he say? Yesterday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me turn on the desktop audio so you can hear it. So that is definitely pretty creepy, guys. I mean, look at it. It's dead. Thanks for sending that through to me, mate. I appreciate it. If anyone else has little clippets like this, send it through, because, I mean, look at that. That just shows you. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday. I mean, sure, it wouldn't be the busiest time for shopping, but it wouldn't be completely dead like this. Maybe no one will know if you take one of the utes, mate. You know. So, he said the Prime Minister's latest restrictions on movement would put further downward pressure on retail spending, which had already been devastated by what some commentators had dubbed Australia's retail apocalypse earlier this year. At the start of the year, we saw a number of big brands go into voluntary administration. That was before the impact of the illness, Dr. Mortimer said. I suspect some brands, particularly within the clothing and footwear sectors, may not even survive the next 4 weeks. I mean, we saw that. What about international trade? All the products that are imported. I'm quite lucky that when Rachel went to Harbour Town, I had my old R.M. Williams, my boots getting repaired, which I love. I haven't had them for months, actually, because we got them, put them in last year. And she went in there, got them, picked them up, and they redid all the heels and the insides. It's a good brand. Not sponsored, but it's bloody good. And they've just closed afterwards. So I just managed to get my boots just before they shut all their shops. So I'm happy with that. Dr. Mortimer said the next challenge will be how retailers responded when they were able to reopen, and many would be plagued with issues surrounding inventory clearance. Oh, and just back to my rambling about Aldi, they don't really offer home delivery, do they? So it'll be interesting to see if they adapt to that or other businesses adapt to it. I received all the emails from Target offering free home delivery. So, businesses are trying to change. Shops like Myer, which is now closed, would be sitting on tens of thousands of Easter products which will be worthless after Easter. Another challenge for fashion retailers is that this is the traditional mid-season clearance sales period, which will not take place. And that means if they're sitting on winter coats and other inventory, they will have lost all this time to sell it. When they do reopen, what will happen is that many retailers will move directly to deep discounting to clear their backlog of inventory. And of course, the next thing to ask is, are retailers going to be in a financial position to forward buy their spring range of clothing? He said about 65% of stores at the normally buzzing Westfield Chermside in Brisbane's inner north have been closed yesterday, which showed retailers were crying out for a clear message from the government to close all non-essential retail and shopping centres. Everything was in darkness because what's the point of opening now? I think ultimately retailers are just looking for that announcement so they can tell their team with certainty, this is a government directive, not a decision from the board or management, Dr. Mortimer said. Team members are trying to remain upbeat and happy with the few remaining customers coming in, but I would imagine they're feeling quite stressed themselves, with no certainty whether they will have a job or not at the end of the week. Stores that remain open have teams that are incredibly stressed, as well as stressed leadership and management teams that don't know whether it is a smart move to close or not. Dr. Mortimer said the government's multi-billion-dollar stimulus package, which includes $750 of payments to 6.5 million Australians, will begin landing in accounts from tomorrow, which is today, would likely not make a significant difference in the retail industry. Well, yeah, exactly. You're not going to go out and spend it. It'll probably go on food, petrol, paying off bills. Gold. Some people will buy gold. The public is genuinely concerned and anxious. So I think these stimulus packages will only go towards paying debt, bills and essentials. People will be paying the rent and the mortgage, putting fuel in the car and food on the table. And at this point, consumers aren't looking to buy clothes, electronics and things like that. He said while some retail subsectors, such as supermarkets, electronics and stationery stores, were doing well at the moment as Australians stocked up on staples and office equipment as they worked and studied from home, other areas would be increasingly challenged. Clearly, some clothing, footwear and accessory brands may not survive this challenging period, as well as some smaller independent baristas, cafes and bars, he said. He added that many small business owners would struggle to pay their business bills, as well as cover their own rental mortgages, and could end up going into receivership. Dr. Mortimer said, while some retailers We're on a hiring blitz of temporary casual staff to cope with the recent spike in demand caused by the illness. This may give people false hope when it comes to our overall unemployment rate. Exactly. I mean, how many of these people are going to last in the long term in these businesses anyway? They're there in the short term to help deal with deliveries and replenish stock. But when everything reopens and retail demand begins to normalize, there will be less demand for that workforce, he said. So here we have it, guys. Here we have it. So even when everything returns, it's going to be a different retail sector, a continuation of the retail recession. What do you think, guys? Do you think people's habits will change? Or do you think everything will go back to normal? As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and you want to help us, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel here on YouTube or on Patreon for a small monthly fee. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay. We receive a small advertiser's commission and it doesn't cost you anything. We have referral links for Independent Reserve and Kucoin for all the crypto traders out there. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays or Teespring. You can see the pocket squares behind me. We have PayPal for those of you that want to make a direct donation. And we also have Gold Pass for those of you that want to provide us with gold. Thank you to all the recent people that made donations through PayPal or directly to the bank account. And for the donations of gold, thank you very much. I'll be holding on to it. Take care, guys. Have a great day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.